Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, welcome back again because it's the second video of today for the people that were already watching the video of this morning and that didn't want to miss any update about our beloved Juventus. For the people that are tuning in for the first time today, go back after this one because I spoke about a lot of diverse things. Anyway, second video of the day, not with Romeo Agresti. The live this evening has been cancelled. He told me, Beppe, I have still some work to do, so I can't be there this evening. Can you, if you do a video, please say sorry to the Juventini of the world, which I am doing now. But ragazzi, I already prepared something to speak about in today's video because we will speak about Mercato and then we will speak about the possible predicted lineup of the game of Fiorentina. So we have already the first predicted lineup with some surprises, especially on the left side of the field and in the strikers, because the big question, of course, is who will play between Dusan Vlahovic, Federico Chiesa, Arkadiusz Milik, and Moise Kean that did that well against Verona in the last game. So we'll go through that in a second. So if you didn't yet, please, maximum of like, continue to subscribe to the channel. You know it, 28,000 is better than 27,600. So if you can do it today, now, that would be fantastic. Oh, we start Mercato. Juventus, and I already spoke about it since so long, will be much more active in the winter than in the summer. Not that it's really difficult, you know it, huh? In the summer, just Timo Weah as a real new signing, as a real new face, and then returns of loan like Cambiaso, that never played for Juventus before that season, but he was already property of Juve, and Rovella in and out before playing an official game 23-24 with the Bianconeri. Then we can imagine that Juventus without Paul Pogba, without Nicolo Fagioli, that will be back again for the last game of the season 23-24, we have to reinforce our midfield. Is it only the midfield where Juventus will reinforce themselves? Big question mark. Because when I'm reading the names of Mattia Sule, possible comeback, Berardi, that Juventus is still on the player, even if the request of Carnevali from Sassuolo are still a bit too high, probably out of proportion for a player that is going towards the 30 years old. And then Douglas Costa, that is in Torino for what? Well, I have no idea. Well, ragazzi, then I'm thinking maybe Giuntoli and Allegri and the technical staff are cooking something here on the Mercato of the winter. Maybe not only one, two, but maybe even three players if we are able to seal a left or a right back. But this is a story for a bit later, for December probably. So what are the 10 names in the midfield that we spoke about in the last few weeks? I will list you them from not in an order, not in a ranking, just the 10 names, and then we go through all the names before going to the predicted lineup against Fiorentina. Thuram is the first one, De Paul, Rodrigo, Højbjerg from Tottenham, we have Fabian Ruiz, the player from Paris Saint-Germain, Vermeeren Arthur, the young kid from Antwerp, we have Samardzic, expert player of Serie A, young but already acknowledged of the Italian league. We have Joao Neves, that the scouts went there already twice to Benfica to monitor that young kid that is doing fantastically well, especially taking over the spot that was free after Enzo Fernandez went to Chelsea. We have Lewis Ferguson, the cheap solution from Bologna, Colpani, fantastic beautiful start with Monza, and Corentin Tolisso. I want to start with the last name that I just mentioned, Corentin Tolisso. Ragazzi, it's a bit the name that you don't want to hear anymore. The one that you really hoped in the past that he came to Juve, that he signed for Juve, but then with the years and with the different situation that we are in today, it's a player that you don't want anymore. Why am I mentioning it? Because there are some names like that in the past. You know, Milik, that was linked to Juve every single season. At the end, he arrived. Paredes was linked to Juve for so many seasons, and then he arrived. So I want to still keep open a possible Tolisso at Juve. Just one source that is reporting it at the moment, not really something concrete, but you never know. So I just put the name there. So what is the top 3 list of the players that we want today? Well, we want Thuram, we could possibly want Rodrigo De Paul, and we want Samardzic. These are the 3 players that Juventus is really monitoring to have immediately players that can give an impact to Juventus and to actually sub players like Fagioli and Pogba that will not play for the remaining part of the season. So these are three really interesting players. Another player that Juventus is still monitoring, even if it will be quite difficult, is the one of Højbjerg from Tottenham. So four players that are a bit mature, that are a bit more expert, but unfortunately when you're saying maturity, when you're saying expertise, you're also saying much more expensive than the other players on the list. Because if Samardzic is the one that is the cheapest one of the four names that I just mentioned to you, well, it's a player that with the difficulties of Udinese, Carnevali doesn't want to let go. Or he wants possibly to sit on a table and speak with a possible swap. Who is the player that they are asking for? Well, it's not the first team that is asking for him. It is Ealing Jr. that at the moment is not playing at Juve. So it will be a quite difficult negotiation in the month of January. Probably Juventus will go all in the month of July, August to try to sign the Serbian player, but at the moment I think it will be quite difficult. Or Juventus would say, you know what, we can give you Ealing Jr. because with Kostic and with Cambiaso on the left, unfortunately we have no space for him. Thuram is the dream that I'm telling you since the summer, or at least my dream since the summer. Fantastic player, unfortunately also the most expensive one on that list. Is around the 50-60 million euro with a lot of European clubs that are also on the son of Lilian, ex-Juve player. Rodrigo de Paul, a player that did really well with Argentina. He won the World Cup, did really well in some games with Atletico Madrid, did fantastically well when he's playing in Serie A. A player that could possibly come on loan until the end of the season with an option to buy or maybe an obligation if you reach Champions League. And if you are looking how the season is going with Juventus at the moment competing after match day 10 for the Serie A title, well, the options with an obligation if you reach Champions League are a bit dangerous. Dangerous in a good way, because you're sure nearly that you will enter that top 4, which also means by consequence that you are doing a promise to a club that if you reach it, you will sign him, and probably you will sign him. So Juventus needs to pay attention there. Another one is Højbjerg, but you know it, with some players that will play the African Cup from Tottenham, difficultly Tottenham, that is at the moment first in Premier League, will change something there in the midfield. What about the other names? Well, we spoke about Fabian Ruiz, that was also on the target list of Atletico Madrid, but it's a player that is outgoing from Paris Saint-Germain, where he's absolutely not a starter. Zaire Emery, fantastic kid, he is the starter there, and then they have a lot of young players from their own academy. Vermeeren, not for January. It's not the player from January. We have already a lot of young players at the moment that are not even finding the starting minutes, like Hans Nicolosi, like Nonje. Going and betting on a young player, yes, now if you want to anticipate everyone before the price go even more higher, but it's not a player that you are looking to give an impact, to go and fight even more for the possible dream that is called the Scudetto. Joao Neves, a bit the same story. Young player, fantastic player, but not sure if he can do the jump immediately from the month of December to January, from Portugal to Italy, competing immediately for the Scudetto. Lewis Ferguson, I already told you, the cheap solution. And then Colpani, also a great player, but I believe that also there you are in the same situation as the Samardzic, with these low clubs of the table that are trying to keep their talent for an entire season, also because these players are playing every single minute from the first one until the 90th, and they have a lot of opportunity. So Juventus is going for 10 players on the list. Probably one of them will arrive. I want to know from you who you want to put there in your wish list. If you have to choose one of these players for January, then in the summer we can think about a new name. But who can that player be? Let me know in the comment. Ragazzi, before speaking about the possible formation, I wanted to show you something just fantastic. An app that I already spoke about during a live, AC Momento. It's actually a free wallet where you can collect the games that you went to, and just epic and fantastic. Here you can see my profile that I created. I went back to 2004 when I watched my first game in San Siro, Inter Juve, that unfortunately was 2-2 anyway, and I went until the last game that I saw, Juventus Verona, of last weekend. So at the moment, 22 times I went to the stadium. I went to 10 different venues, 28 teams I saw playing, and then a a total of 33 hours at the stadium, something that I want to increase. Everything is done automatically, of course. You can see not only the stats, but also here the beautiful pictures of the game that you went to, with the attendance of the game, with the score. You can even put a picture. You can do a lot of things, but it's really fun because you all can also tag the people that you went to that game. So I tagged my son. There was Elod, a member of the channel, that tagged me because he said, Beppe, we were not sitting next to each other, but we were there at the same game, so please can you accept that you were there together with me? And I met him before the game, so it's just fantastic. You can add some notes, you can also give some ratings to the game, to the experience. It's quite nice. If you want to, you can just download the link into the description. It's totally for free. AC Momento. Pay attention because it starts to be a big app. I discovered it really in the beginning and it started to be a big fantastic app, so don't forget about it. And now we go to the last topic of the video, the possible formation that has been leaked. So without hesitation, we go with Szczesny. I was really thinking that Perin would start against Verona. Szczesny is looking for continuity. He really wants to forget that game against Sassuolo. He wants to play with continuity and keeping that clean sheet, especially in a game against Fiorentina. The defense remains the same, with Bremer there in the middle, Gatti on the right side, and Rugani that will play on the left. So no changes. They play together twice. Of course, the Juventini were a bit scared in the beginning when losing Danilo, because Rugani on the left side of that three-man defense, Bremer and Gatti, was an unknown factor, an unknown defense. Well, they are doing quite well. Will they be as solid as they were in the last two games against Fiorentina? Big question mark. And then we go to the right side. We know it, big problem. Our friend Timo Weah will not be back until the injury break. So who will play on the right side of the field? It is probably, according to the predicted lineup, Weston McKennie, that started in their role in the beginning of the season. No surprises with Rabiot as the left mezzala, with Locatelli as a regista, and then two surprises for some people. One is not that much a surprise because we know if McKennie is playing on the right side, Miretti can play there, but wait, because I will reveal you later what can be the possible surprise. And then instead of Kostic, we can have Cambiaso, and I'm sure that a lot of you will be happy. Is it because he scored? Probably not. It is probably because of the person that will play on top. And here we go to Chiesa and to Moise Kean. These are the two players that could possibly start up front. Why these two players? Because Dusan Vlahovic could enter from the bench, because Moise Kean is in a huge, big form. If he entered against Milan, he started against Verona. Well, Federico Chiesa has now 2 games where he started from the bench and he can't wait to start again a game against his ex-team Fiorentina. And here I told you Cambiaso here. Why? Because we saw that partnership between Rabiot, Cambiaso and Federico Chiesa is working perfectly well. We remember all the movements that they were doing with Chiesa going a bit more on the left, Cambiaso entering centrally, and Rabiot that was going up can be a possible solution there on the left side. They already did it a few times, so they are used to it, with a Moise Kean that will fight against all the possible defenders that will try to man-mark him. The danger, of course, will be that Miretti will play too much defensively, because with McKennie paying attention, with Miretti a bit like he did in one of the games where we saw that trio playing here, it can be a danger. So it's not excluded that we can go towards a surprise on top. And that surprise is that we can possibly play, if we want in ball possession to attack, to play a kind of 3-4-1-2 with a Miretti that will be much more offensive, and it will actually be Juventus that will try to do the game instead of a Fiorentina that we know it's always first in Serie A in terms of ball possession. So Juventus being a bit more dangerous here with the Miretti offensively could be the lineup that at the moment is predicted. So ragazzi, that was the video, a shorter one as this morning. We spoke about Mercato, we spoke about possible lineup. I also tried to tell you the keys and the why Cambiaso instead of a Filip Kostic. I'm curious about your opinion. Let me know. Again, I'm sorry that this evening we can't go live with Romeo Agresti, but I hope that you forgive me, that you put a maximum of like, that you subscribed, and that you forgive me that the fact that Romeo was not there, but I did it. So don't forget AC Momento, beautiful app. I guarantee for it. Link is in the description, totally for free. So download it, make me a pleasure, and also follow me, don't forget. Grazie, forza, Juve. Ciao.